What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Yeah, I Know It podcast. Before we get our next beautiful guest on to the podcast, I would like to send my appreciations out to everybody that watches and shares the podcast and shouts me out and just follows, likes, and subscribes. And if you're watching this video right now and you look below you and you're not subscribed or you haven't commented, what are you doing? You just watching me? I appreciate you watching me. Now, please subscribe. What does that say? Oh, yeah. Just please subscribe. Appreciate you watching. I really do. But subscribe and comment anything that you want us to talk about. If you have any questions for me, if you want somebody else back onto the podcast that you liked, go ahead and do that. Let me know. If you don't know what to comment, say, hey, Jansen, I don't care how you spell it. You're probably going to spell it wrong anyways. It's a hard name to spell. There you go. I'm still not sponsored by anybody. If Whole Strength would like to sponsor me, use code music at Whole Strength. They probably are not going to sponsor me because I haven't made any sales. They have some really good clothes if you work out. They have wrist wraps. They have belts. They have knee sleeves. And I'm actually going to buy a belt and a knee sleeve right after I get done making this video. When I get it in, I'll be able to show everybody what I'm talking about. I'm whispering because my girlfriend is in here, or not in here, but she's here, and I feel like I'm really weird talking into a camera. But yeah, that is it. I appreciate everybody watching this video. If you follow the TikTok and Instagram, yeah, I know it pod. Show some love on there. Shout me out. If you shout me out, I'll shout you out back on my story. But you got to tag the Yeah, I Know It pod in order for me to do that. Thank everybody for watching. Let's get into the podcast. And our next guest on the Yeah, I Know It podcast is none other than my girlfriend, Brooke Wolfe.
Hi.
Woo!
Woo.
I hit the mic.
Huh?
I said I hit my mic. Brooke, tell me a little bit about you growing up. How did you grow? Not how did you grow up? What was life like growing up?
Honestly, I had a really normal childhood. Probably grew up, born and raised in Bartow. I've gone to school here my whole life. I moved away for a little bit, but I came back pretty quick. Pretty normal.
You moved away. What do you mean?
I moved to Gainesville for school. So
Oh, okay.
For about 6 months. I did a semester at Santa Fe, and then that was when COVID had just started and all that, so I ended up moving back. But
that's pretty normal.
Normal. I feel like normal is a good word for it.
What do you mean by normal, though? Like,
I mean, I
feel like everybody's normal is a little bit different.
I mean, I had an older brother. We went to school. I was a cheerleader in high school, so that was kind of a big thing for me. I always did sports and that kind of thing. But other than that, it was just...
I got you. Let's get into a little bit about how we met. Excuse my voice crack. So we met... Actually, me and Colin, I think Caden was allowed to be out. But me and Colin had snuck out and rode with Caden to a house that you guys were dog sitting at.
So technically, I wasn't house sitting at it. It was another friend who was house sitting, and we all ended up just going over there and hanging out.
Oh, so you weren't supposed to be there neither.
No, I have a close friend named Lexi, and our moms were very close as well. Both of our parents were. And somehow we got away with the whole, I said I was staying at Lexi's house, and Lexi said she was staying at my house.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got away with it, but we did that one night, and then the other 2 nights we were supposed to be dog sitting for my brother. And we didn't go home until about 5 a.m., so sorry, Charlie, but...
Yeah, I used to do that a lot. I used to tell my parents, yeah, I'm going to stay the night with Colin, or I'm going to stay the night with Jason, and then never asked them to stay the night. So I wouldn't have nowhere to stay at the end of the night. And I would always just pull up to the little church school where I went to pre-K at.
Oh my gosh.
And I just went to sleep in the parking lot.
Yeah, I never did that. I did stay with a friend with Lexi quite a bit in high school. We all kind of moved in there for a while. It was really fun. We all just kind of got to hang out there. But I really didn't. Like, my mom knew pretty much everything I did. She didn't really care because I wasn't a bad kid, so.
Yeah. So when we met, I was, what was that? I was ninth grade?
Yeah, you were a baby, and I didn't know you were a baby. Which
That
we
was
were
19.
just friends. We didn't start dating then. That was like 4 years ago. Like the last week or so, I think.
Yeah, I was
got a
ninth
memory.
grade, and I had a girlfriend at the time.
Yeah. Well, we didn't even. I don't even think
Yeah,
we
no,
talked.
we didn't.
But that was the first time we had ever been around each other.
Yeah, I remember me, Dev, Caden, and Colin all wrestling. You sent me a video, I think today.
It was today, yeah, 4 years
of
ago
all y'all
today.
wrestling. Or of all
Not
of us wrestling.
Not of me wrestling.
That's back when I had my hair parted on.
No, you had
Just
that
one side
ugly
of my
little
head,
man bun
and
thing
it
you
was-
had going on.
Don't hate on my man bun.
Bro,
The
it was
only way it
bad.
looked, the only reason why it looked bad is because it was on the side of my head.
I recall you, Devin, and Caden off the top of my head.
But
all of y'all had that ugly
Theirs
little
looked
man
better
bun.
than mine. Caden rocked the man
Oh
bun.
my god.
You cannot tell me otherwise. He did.
I just don't
His
agree.
hair the line was perfect around his head, and he had the man bun. Mine sat on the side of my head.
Not a
You don't
man.
remember
I'm
that?
not a man bun
It
person.
was
I remember.
That was the only reason why it didn't look good.
I disagree, but
The only reason.
that's okay.
Yeah, but then, I mean, after that, I don't think we really talked much at all.
It was probably a couple years.
Yeah, and then we, I think
That
I had
was-
talked to your friend Tashoy a little bit.
Everybody talks it to short.
Yeah, we were pretty cool, and I ended up, I think I asked her about, like, she kind of set us up.
Yeah, she.
I was
yeah.
kind of asking her about you and stuff like that, and she was telling me, kind of hyping me up about it. So I think I texted you, and we kind of hit it off, and then
Well, no, the first time we ever really like hung out and spoke to each other was at Ryland's house. We have
I'm a nervous guy.
close friend. Well, it's your family, but I've been friends with Ryland since he was 13.
Yeah.
And we all were over at his house, and y'all were being idiots and climbing up on a ladder and trust falling. And I think I remember y'all actually dropped Colin on the ground that night.
Yeah, we dropped. Was it Colin?
I thought it was It was either Colin or Ryland.
I think it might have been Colin. Yeah.
Because I know somehow y'all caught Jason, and Jason's what, 6'2", 6'3"?
We all stuck our hands out like this, and then he fell. I was like
They
a
climbed
6
up
foot.
a
It was
ladder.
like a 6 foot ladder.
Yeah.
And then
And
they
fell
off
the
the
ladder.
ladder, and we would catch them, but we
And
ended
keep
up.
in mind, me and my friends were just sitting there, literally sitting down, watching from the corner, like, what do they think
Yeah,
they're
we
doing?
ended up. We dropped Colin. I don't know how we dropped
Poor
Colin and not
Colin. That was-
Jason, because
that's
Jason's a
what I
solid
said.
6 foot, a little bit over 6 foot, and Colin's smaller. I don't know how tall Colin is. I think Colin's my height, maybe an inch shorter than I am. But yeah, that
Logistically,
was
that
crazy.
does not make sense.
But-
But
What does that mean?
how y'all dropped Jason?
Oh,
but,
I thought you were
or
talking
dropped
about
Colin,
me
but not
talking
Jason.
about heights.
No.
Yeah, so we kind of started talking then, and then we
We didn't date for a long time,
no,
though.
I didn't want to date nobody.
Well, it's okay. I was moving to Gainesville, so I wasn't
Yeah.
planning on that happening. And
I was
then-
kind of I was liking the single life, and then like you said, you were moving to Gainesville, and we had talked for about 6 months. We were actually talking,
Probably, yeah.
and then I think it was the day before you moved away. I started going
That's
through
so
my head.
messed up, bro.
It's
Like,
not messed
It
up.
is. It really is.
All right, well, listen to my standpoint. I was
Okay.
sitting there thinking, I hear the dog in my headphones, and it's gonna
I
make me
know.
mad.
I hear Hazel.
But you're about to move away, and I remember it was the day before, and I was just thinking, like, man, this girl is like, she's smart, she knows what she wants to do with her
Aw.
life. She's not airheaded, like, no offense, a lot of these other women out here.
Well, thank you.
And I thought I could have maybe seen a future with you, so I asked you out. So we did the kind of long distance for a little bit. Kind of,
Yeah,
not
that was-
really.
No, well, you were down there a lot. And I came back a lot.
It's back when I worked at Publix. Your boy was getting 3 to 4 hours a week at Publix.
I will
Turn
say that is
around.
really janky. That's
Turning
really janky.
around, heading to Gainesville every week, almost every week.
Every weekend, yeah.
Yeah, I remember your birthday came up, and it was your birthday weekend. I was heading up there, and I got rear-ended in the middle of Lakeland.
I remember because I was standing in the mall to buy your Halloween costume for my birthday party.
Yeah, I got rear-ended, and I didn't tell my mom.
And my phone was on 1%, and you called me and were like, yeah, I'm on the interstate and I just rear-ended somebody or got rear-ended or whatever. And then my phone died and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, no, he rear-ended me. So, I mean, I wasn't in the wrong. And nothing was really wrong on my truck. But his red Volkswagen, his bumper was finna come off.
That's on him.
Yeah, exactly. I just got his insurance. I didn't call my mom. Nothing. I just went ahead and came back, and I'll let my mom know later. Because if I'd have told her then, she would have never.
See, in my accidents, I never had that luxury. It was always...
You messed up your car. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Resitch.
Well, it was also that the...
Get you a resitch.
Outer part of my car was basically moved like plastic. So you push too hard and the whole thing's going in.
So you went to school. What you have a degree from Gainesville. What is that in?
I have not from Gainesville.
Santa Fe.
I have a degree from Santa Fe. It's an associate's degree.
That's in Gainesville.
And okay, never mind.
I didn't say the University of Florida.
No, I'm saying Gainesville didn't give me a degree, but it's fine.
An
Associate's degree in business administration from Santa Fe. So.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now you're working on your other one.
It kind of felt like a lot of work and a lot of money for a piece of paper. So
It's a lot of fun living in Gainesville for me.
I loved living in Gainesville. I miss the city. The only thing was about it that I was by myself a lot because my roommate, her boyfriend lived up there. My other roommates were, I'm not really a partier. I don't go to clubs and stuff like that. And they were from Miami and Orlando. So, like, that's what
they got their roommates
off
from
Facebook.
Craigslist.
No, it was off Facebook.
Oh, Facebook.
It was
they
off
didn't
of a
know
Facebook
them
group.
at
I didn't
all.
do it. I didn't do it. My friend did it. Yeah. I mean, they weren't murderers. So, I mean, I take that as a win. But they were different than we were. I will say that. And, I mean, I guess it's part of how they were raised. You know, Miami and Orlando.
I don't know how you move in with somebody you don't know.
You don't have a choice?
Especially into, like, a house.
I didn't know nobody else moving
for.
up there besides me and my friend. And rent is not cheap. And I'm sorry, but...
Rent is not cheap. For all you jokers that are moving to Florida, stop it.
Yeah.
Please. You're making it worse on us. And I've lived in Florida my entire life. So just please, you can come visit.
Just don't stay
here. You don't
here.
have to live here.
Yeah. Go to Disney World and then go back home.
Yeah. So right now, we came back and we moved into an apartment complex.
With my brother, actually.
Yeah. I talked about that on one podcast. And I worked at that complex. And then we moved into a shack.
Okay, so the shack that we talk about, for any of my family that watches, we refer to it as a shack. It's a little mother-in-law suite at my grandmother's house, built in the 30s. It's original to, like, the 30s. It's never been redone.
What do you mean? We redone it?
We painted the walls. We put new flooring down.
You dang right.
But it's still concrete and wood walls. The windows are original. They have cracks in them. The screens are coming off. One of them is actually broken now.
Yeah, why don't you go tell the story on how you broke it?
So, fun fact, it was actually my brother's room. And so growing up, like, me and my brother, we wrestled a lot. Like, we fought because, like I told you, when we get in disagreements, us fighting it out helps.
I'll take it from here.
So, no, hold on, I got it. One night, me and Jacob and Tashoy, we were wrestling in the front yard. We'd been wrestling for like an hour. We go inside, whatever. Well, you came home on your break, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was on lunch break. I worked 6 to 6 night shift.
Oh, there goes your phone. Well, he came home on his break, and I think Lacey was there too. And we were all being smart, fighting with each other, whatever. And you said something slick about me not wanting to smoke or whatever. And I looked at you and I was like,
You
bet.
started it.
No, I don't remember it that way. And I said, well, bet. And then somehow we started fighting, and you picked me up and
Suplexed her.
literally picked me up and threw me over his shoulder on my neck. I'm 5'8". I'm not a small person.
I didn't mean to put her on her neck.
I fell right on my neck. And that right there was like enough to give me superhuman strength.
I felt bad, and I tried to stop her, but at that point she was mad.
I was pissed.
So I'm like, Brooke, I'm sorry, stop. No, I don't want to do this no more, because I had already hurt her. And I was like, no, I don't want to do this no more.
You were trying to get up on me, and I had my legs up in the air above me.
I tried to pin you down.
Yeah.
I
know. You were trying to pin me down, bro. What did you expect me to do?
And I went to stand up, and as I'm standing up, she gets up under me right here and kicks me into the window, and it breaks the window.
Yeah, his butt went right
Now
through
that
the
we
window.
sound like we're a bunch of lunatics,
We really, like, that's...
it wasn't a real fight.
No, we were just, like, we were literally all just having fun play fighting. But it's just so happened that happened. And like, we don't do that on a regular basis. Like,
It's
that
not
was
domestic violence. I
No,
promise.
it's not. And what made it even worse was that it was my brother's window. Oh my God, he was so mad. He got,
we ended
like,
up.
and rightfully so. I will say he had every right to be pissed. So we didn't have any tape or anything in the house, so we went and got a trash bag and electrical tape from Jacob's bucket truck, and that is what I used to try to seal off that window for the night.
I don't think it worked.
It didn't work. I mean, it worked for the night. It didn't stay like that, though.
Yeah, so we moved out of there, and now we're living in this house. And, I mean, we're blessed to be able to live in this house. But
yeah, I love this house.
I can only imagine for you how school and work can be both at the same time and having to afford bills and stuff. How is that for you?
It's really gotten better because when I moved home from Gainesville, I started working full-time at the apartment complex. You've mentioned that on here before.
Yeah, she also worked at the complex.
And then I eventually stepped down from the full-time role at the apartment complex and wanted to work at Publix or something because I was almost done with my AA, but working full-time and going to school full-time is a lot, even if it is online. So I went to Publix, and I was going to be part-time at Publix as a cashier. Well, I had a really great manager, and I got moved up to office staff very quickly, and I was in customer service. And
did you hear that?
why would you do that?
I was just wondering if you could hear it.
Yeah, I heard it.
All right, cool.
And what was I talking about?
The apartment complex, and you moved out, and you don't want to work full time.
So I became an office staff, and within like 4 months of me working at Publix, starting as a cashier, I was offered full time. And I feel like if you get offered full time at Publix, you don't really say no to that. Like, it's just it really is a good company. You know, you have to have good managers and all, but it is a good company to work for if you put your time in.
Yeah, they never offered me that.
Well, you called out a lot too, and you also requested days off. Schedule me. So you called out of when they did schedule you?
Dang right.
That doesn't make any sense.
If y'all ain't gonna schedule me, then I ain't gonna show up.
And then you didn't have any money because you called
I had money.
Okay. Anyways, quit making me lose my train of thought.
Sorry. Publix is a good place to work for if you had good management.
Oh, and I worked there for a while. I worked there full time there for a while. I was full time from January to I think I stepped down in September. For once again because it was just too much with school. I'm starting in-person classes now at Polk State since I graduated at Santa Fe. And that was just doing in-person classes and going to Polk State face-to-face was going to be too much. I mean, I could make it happen, but I'm also applying to several medical programs at Polk State. And when clinicals start, that literally won't be possible because clinicals will be 3 or 4 days a week, 8-hour shifts. So.
Oof. Yeah.
Unpaid.
Affording bills is kind of difficult when you first get out of high school. I mean.
Well, it's just because of the pricing of everything now.
It's a lot of stuff I took a financial algebra class, I think it was, in high school, and it really helped me out a lot. But, I mean, without that kind of stuff, I mean, you really don't know when you get out of high school, like, what to do. You don't know about budgeting. You don't really know about paying anything.
I had a job. I got a job when I was 16. After, like, when I quit cheer, that was my mom's deal with me. Like, okay, if you don't want to do sports, you're going to have a job. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever. I got a job at a boutique. So that really helped me there start kind of figuring out, because my mom paid for my bills and stuff when I was in high school. But everything else, gas, food, clothes, whatever else I wanted to spend my money on, that was on me. That was on me to figure out. So that helped me a lot to kind of budget everything out and kind of see how far money goes.
Yeah.
It's not like I was making big bucks. I started out at $8.50 working 20 hours a week maybe.
Yeah. And
I loved that job though. I wish I could go back to that job now.
Yeah, they got a whole new owner now, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's kind of bittersweet. It's good to see that the store got to keep going on, but
yeah, I make pretty good money at my job. I'm not gonna go into how much I do make, but
yeah, you do well.
I make pretty good money, and for all those who don't know, set up a budget. If you plan on moving out, get a budget. So what I do is I open up another savings account. So I don't want to talk about how much we pay on our house, but it's not like a cheap amount. So so what I did was every paycheck I'll have all my bills, what I pay in a month, and I'll add all those up to see how much money I got to spend on bills. So, and then I'll add up how much I usually get roughly every month from like checks. And then I'll take that and I'll kind of divide it up. So both checks that I get, because I get paid bi-weekly, so both checks I'll take out whatever I need to be able to have
Pay
that
those
exact
bills.
amount of the bills. I'll put it in the bills account. And then I think I only give myself close to like $400 every 2 weeks to just spend in my checking account, and then everything else goes into my savings.
Yeah, I basically do the same thing, except for, like, again, since I stepped down to part-time, like, my hours got cut, which my hourly wage didn't, which is great. But so that's what I do, and I get paid weekly, so I do the kind of the same thing. I'll take, and some months you have 5 checks, some months you have 4 if you're weekly like that.
Yeah.
And so I just divide that my part by whatever, and then I factor in everything, and then divide that by how many checks you get.
Yeah, I mean, it's not hard, but it is a little something to get used to.
I was gonna say, it's just learning it. It's a
Yeah.
learning curve, and that's the thing that I've learned about moving out, is that there's a lot of things that, like, you don't know because your parents do it for you.
Yeah.
And so you don't know about dryer sheets, or you don't learn these basic
Man, I
things.
seen one thing one time. Dryer sheets hurt your dryer. That's why I don't use them. That's
Don't
why
use
I
them
don't
on
use
your
them.
laundry then.
You tell me that, hey, don't forget about the dryer sheets, and I tell you, okay.
What's
I don't use them
that?
on purpose.
And there's also stuff like cleaning the microwave, or I don't know, little stuff like that. Cleaning the floorboards. For some reason, I guess it's because of the dogs, but the floorboards will get dirty, and you have to get down, like the baseboards, get down and scrub those. It's things like that you don't really learn whenever you're moving out of your parents' house, and it's kind of a learning curve whenever you move out on your own, which sucks, but once you learn it, I mean, you're okay. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too terribly hard. I think the hardest part with me is dishes,
Dishes suck.
laundry. And I'm pretty good at cleaning up the house, but sometimes I'm not pretty good at cleaning up the house.
Your version of cleaning up the house,
Here we go.
it's just moving stuff. I'm not dissing you. I mean, it's
All
clean. It makes the house look better, but it's just moving stuff around. It's just rearranging stuff where it looks new, like different, so that then you think it looks clean, and that's not cleaning.
It is cleaning.
Cleaning is like saying, "Oh, that hamper has clean clothes in it. I'm going to put the clothes away and put the hamper where the hampers go."
I organize.
I
Yes,
would say a better word for it would be rearrange.
Sure.
But we can agree to
It
disagree.
still cleans. I used to do that in my parents' house. They used to tell me to clean my room.
And you would just move everything around.
Move my entire room around.
Your sister does that,
My
though.
bed, my dressers.
I feel like every
You
time I
walk
go to
back
your
into
parents' house, your sister's room is like,
Yeah, you walk into my room, it's a
shifted.
completely different room.
yeah, no. I mean, I did that like once or twice when I was a kid.
Thought about doing that to our bedroom. Because
Mhm.
I've already done it once.
Let's discuss that before you do it.
I'm thinking about putting our bed in not in the dead
Oh,
center
dear
of the
God.
room, but like in the middle of that wall. You got me on the wall.
No, Hazel puts you on the wall.
No. You're the one that wants to sleep next
Okay,
to the nightstand.
Agree to disagree. How's that sound?
Well, we're going to have to agree on something.
No.
You just going to come home to that bed move.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways,
As
next.
long as I don't gotta move it, I mean, I really don't care. Just make
So
sure you get
how-
the dog hair up.
So, yeah, we got to do that. So how is it, from your point of view, how is living with your significant other, which is me?
Which is
Be
you.
honest.
Thank you for clarifying it too.
I was just letting them know that we're together.
honestly-
She's taken, don't get at her.
Oh dear God. Honestly, now it's actually good. Like you really do. Like you do a lot to help, and even whenever we disagree on things, it's kind of like we still You know what I mean? We love each other, so we still find common ground.
Yeah, well, my parents always told me, or not always, but a while ago, it always stuck into my head. They said if it's not worth arguing about in a year, then it's not worth arguing about.
And, like, when we first moved out, again, like, there were some things, and I'm just going to accredit it to you being a teenage boy because my brother was the same way. And
I'm still a teenager.
He probably, I know. And he probably still is the same way. There are just, again, certain things that you don't know about moving out. But you've actually gotten better. Like, you hang your towel up now. Like, that's impressive. You keep your boots outside. You don't bring your nasty shoes inside. Like, you'll see stuff and be like, oh, that needs to be done. I'm going to do it. And I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
It wasn't always that way, but you were also young and a boy. So.
Boys are so much more simple.
Gross is the word that I would use.
No, it's not gross. I'm not a gross person. Other than maybe the deodorant thing.
The deodorant thing is terrible. I've been on him about that. I just want to make that known. I really do.
She didn't even know till I said something about it.
Well, no, I didn't, because I buy you deodorant.
That means I don't stink.
I buy you deodorant. You just don't use it.
But that means I don't stink.
Well, my sense of smell also isn't great since I got COVID the first time. So.
Yeah, you be mouth breathing sometimes.
Hey, shut up, bro.
Yeah, I like living with you too. You do a lot around the house. You got a lot on your plate, so I try to do whatever I can, which I do. I have a lot on my plate too. So I mean,
yeah, I feel
we
like
kind of both understand
like we really
that.
both do.
So we kind of both understand that, and
like we really are only here together for like 2 to 3 hours maximum a day that we're not sleeping, because we're both like, you work a lot of hours in between work and school.
I work 12 to 14-hour shifts Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday and Sunday. So the fact that I get these out to y'all means I love y'all a lot, and y'all need to subscribe, view, and share it with everybody else that you follow.
Oh my God.
That was
you just had to get that out there real quick?
I did.
All right.
I work hard in this a lot. So I want you to talk about how much life changes after high school. I mean, we kind of did with the whole moving out and stuff, but like, I don't want to like toot my own horn, but I thought I was a pretty popular person in high school. And then after high school, I talked to people that I'm not related to, because I went to people that I went to school with.
You are
people
also
I'm
related.
to.
You're kind of like me. You're related to a lot of people. A lot of your friends, at least.
So after high school, I talked to mainly 2 people. Jason and Colin.
We have a pretty solid group of friends
that I went to high school with.
Oh well, I went to high school with a lot of them. Jason
and Colin and Devin, but he is kind of like family now. But well, I guess Colin, Jason.
He's gonna be so excited to hear that when he listens to this.
I mean, Colin and Jason is too, but I mean, like Devin, he was more close to Caden, but he's obviously my friend too. But yeah, well, I'm talking about people like I graduated with. We all graduated at the same time. I only talked to 2 people.
For me, it didn't. Honestly, I say probably I have more friends now than I did when I graduated, just because, like, for me, like, my last 2 years of high school, I was a cheerleader my first 2 years, and then I quit after that, and that's when I was doing dual enrollment. I didn't talk to a lot of people. I was going through a lot in, like, my personal life, and I talked to my group of friends that I have now pretty much. And, you know, we've added several more in there over the last couple of years that I'm super close with. But it has changed a lot, and it has changed, I feel like, for the better. Like, I do miss high school. I just miss not having the stress, not having the bills, not having the worries and all that kind of stuff, because I was fortunate enough to not have worries in some ways. I mean, I had a really rough last 2 years of high school, for those who know. But it has changed a lot. It's really crazy.
Yeah. And I know you started going to the gym. You were in the gym when we got consistent. You started going before I did.
I started going to the gym my junior year of high school.
I mean, I was always in the gym working out with football and stuff, but I mean,
well, that's how I was with cheer. Like with cheer, like exercises, all we did. We were running all the time. We were doing practice. We had the cheer class in the middle of the day. I cheered at Bartow, so that was, you know, what that means.
Cardio sucks.
Your life was dedicated to cheerleading. But I started my junior year when I had all of that going on in my personal life, just because it kind of gave me a little bit of time where I wasn't thinking about everything going on. You know, I had all of that and I could just go to the gym and honestly be focused on, I am killing myself in this gym right now. Like, I'm sweating. Why are you making that face at me?
What are you talking about? Just talk.
Stop. I will get up and walk out of here.
Why? Just talk, dude.
Okay, anyways, I'll talk to y'all. Yeah, the gym just kind of took my mind off of it. I went to Planet Fitness for the first 2 years that I had. I had like a minor membership. And I went up there and I would go late nights a lot of times. And it just kind of gave me something to take my mind off of it and to do something productive, if that makes sense. And I couldn't control anything about my surroundings, but I could control that. And so that's kind of where I got started. And it's like...
All right, continue.
I got to think about what exactly.
So you started when you went to the gym. You got a minor membership at Planet Fitness, which...
Oh, yeah. I mean, I like working out at Planet Fitness. It was like $10 a month, $20 a month for the black card if they haven't increased it anymore. I also worked there for a little bit, but that's another story. And, yeah, I liked that gym a lot. It was really big and spacious. I didn't know what I was doing, but I just went in there and tried to figure it out.
Yeah.
And so when I moved to Gainesville, COVID was happening. So, you know, everywhere was shut down. We didn't have gyms and all that kind of stuff. So then whenever I moved back to town, that's whenever I got my membership at any time. And I've been going pretty steady there ever since I moved back.
Yeah, you started going to the gym a little bit before. How long do you think it was when we started going any time? You were going
I've had my membership since about 2 years, because I got it right after I started at Publix, because it's like right next door to my job, so it was kind of stupid for me to drive anywhere else to Lakeland or anything like that. Otherwise, I would have gone to Planet Fitness or something where it's $10 a month versus...
What made you want to get in the gym?
Well, I kind of just missed it because, again, it's just one of those things that I feel like everybody, when they get into the gym, it's because they want to do something. They have a physical goal, that they want to achieve. But for me, it was that, and it was also just that, like, I missed, when I go to the gym, I like to go in the mornings or in the middle of the day.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah, I can tell.
That's why I always just do this.
Yeah. I feel more productive. I get more stuff done. If I get up and go to the gym, I'll come home and do laundry, clean the house, do my homework, do whatever. Versus if you sleep in till 12 o'clock, you're not going to want to do anything all day. So that's kind of why I got in.
I wish I could sleep in until 12 o'clock. I used to sleep.
I don't ever do that.
Dude, me and Caden, whether if we went to sleep at 4 o'clock in the morning or we went to sleep at 10 o'clock at night, we would not get out of the bed until 1 or 2 in the
I remember
afternoon.
that. You were like that when we got together because I would have to have Tashoy leave Lacey's house. Tashoy would have to leave Lacey's house next door and come over there and wake you up for work because I would be at work.
The best. It was Publix, bro.
It doesn't matter. It's work. It's a job. See, that's the problem.
I quit that job, and I didn't even tell my mom I quit that job.
Yeah, I remember.
I went, and I actually called into work one day. No, I didn't call in. I was supposed to work that day, and I called them, and I was like, you know what? Y'all ain't giving me no hours. I'm just going to quit. So I called them up. I was like, hey, just letting y'all know, I think I'm going to go ahead and quit. They said, okay, you got to come in and fill out a paper. So I said, okay. Not knowing, I didn't even have to go.
Yeah, you really didn't.
But
because I have a friend who quit Publix and she didn't do that.
I went all the way up there, and I remember going to get a paper. I got the paper.
The resignation form.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Resignation form.
Yeah, because I resigned from Publix.
Yeah, I messed up that word.
I bet they put it on there that they fired me because I never turned it in.
Who cares?
Yeah, I'm not going back to that place anyways. But, dude, now that I think about it, that's probably why I didn't get the job at the warehouse.
Probably. I mean, but can you blame them? Honestly.
Yeah, no. But yeah, I went to go fill the paper out, and I couldn't find a pen. So I
just left.
Yeah, I just left the store. I didn't say hey to nobody.
That's such a waste. You should have at least filled out the paper. Like, come on now. You drove all the way up there. That's pointless.
It was great.
That's a waste of gas.
It was a waste of gas. But I didn't tell my mom for a while. until
You didn't tell her until like a couple of months later.
yeah, I was applying for different jobs, and I think I almost got a job at a scaffolding company. And then I remember being in the garage one day, and my mom was like, "Do you even work at Publix anymore?" I was like, "Nah."
I was there. I remember that very clearly.
Yeah, I quit there a while back.
She was like, "Oh, okay, that's nice to know."
She didn't really care though. I was surprised by that.
No.
She wasn't like mad at me or nothing, which I think she understands though about the hours and stuff.
Yeah,
that they were
it was pointless. You were literally spending more money to drive back and forth up there. Up and forth. Than you were getting paid anyways, after taxes especially.
Up and forth. Anyways, so I know you grew up a Christian and all your whole family like believes in Jesus and stuff. But how did you get into like wanting to know Jesus more and actually having a relationship with him? Because
so I think that I think it was you and Colin talked about this on the last one.
Yeah.
Colin said something about, and he's very right. Like growing up, if you're raised a Christian, like you go to church because you're supposed to. You pray because you're supposed to.
Yep.
Like you have that faith. You believe in God, but I feel like
you don't actually have it.
Well, I feel like everybody, at least in my opinion, for my personal experience, everybody kind of has that moment where they're like God shows himself. Like he comes and he's in your life and he shows you like, I'm not a million miles away like you think I am. I'm right here. I'm in this room with you and all of that. Like at least that's how it happened for me. So, and that's how I was. I went to church growing up. I went every Sunday with my grandparents. We always sat in the very back at First Assembly. And yeah, I was in a youth group for a long time at a middle school, or not at a middle school, but when I was in middle school. And then finally, whenever I was in high school, it was actually about 2 years ago, whenever I had moved back from Gainesville. I just moved back, and COVID again was like running rampant. It was a big thing still.
Yeah.
And I was living with my granny, and for y'all that don't know, my granny's 91, and she is my favorite person ever. And she got COVID from one of us. And we were all super worried about it. She had a fever of like 102 for several days. It was like we were very fearful. So we were praying about it, and then one night she was telling us...
she functions great for a 91-year-old.
Well, it would have been better if she would have... Like, she's had COVID twice now, but I mean, still for 91, like, she goes out in her garden and stuff.
Yeah.
But she had been telling us that she couldn't breathe and stuff, so she looked at my mom and was like, I think I want to go to the hospital. And my granny don't like to go to the doctor. Like, we have to fight her on going to the doctor. So that was kind of like a, oh crap kind of moment.
Yeah.
So I remember me and her and my mom and my brother were all sitting in the living room because we all had it. And I have a picture of all of us in the car on the way. But we were all sitting there in the living room and we were praying before we left. And we got my Uncle Royce on the phone because my Uncle Royce is like, he's very, very strong in his faith. And he was praying, and he had brought up for us to do communion. So it was like the little crackers and the little grape juice, the little thingy. So we were doing communion and we were praying, and like that was my moment for me that like I was like, this is real. Like this isn't just something they tell you. This isn't just you go to the building and you worship and all of that. It made me realize like God is right here because we're praying and my granny's fever broke. Like her fever dropped. She had the little thing on, and I heard her moving, so I opened my eyes while you were praying. She was checking her temperature, and like some people might not believe this, but I was there. I know, like it was a big deal for me. Yeah. And she took her temperature, and it had dropped to like 99, and I literally busted out crying. And I don't think it struck my mom or my brother like it did me, but it was just. Was that a door?
I don't know. We'll be back. I apologize. We thought somebody broke into the house.
Yeah, it was just the dogs.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is when like the first time for me that I was like, wow, like this is.
Yeah, dude, the power of prayer is crazy. Like what I was talking about on the last podcast about my homeboy and his aunt having pancreatic cancer, and I really believe that us as a collective whole praying at the church for her really saved her, and God just answered that prayer. So that was awesome. And
I just also want to put out there, like my granny, she's had COVID twice, and again, like she was always very active. She's always gone out in her garden, and her health has been great for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
And COVID definitely did take a toll on her. Like, you can tell that she kind of has to hold on to things when she's walking and stuff like that. But she's 91, and like she'll be 92 this year. So she's kicking.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, she's doing really good, really, really good. I think that's good. We're all done.
Yeah, I think.
Brooke, I appreciate you coming on the
I'm
podcast.
not shaking your hand, bro.
Shake my hand, bro.
Just don't squeeze my hand hard.
Appreciate you coming on to this
You're
podcast.
welcome. Thank you for forcing me to come on this podcast tonight.
I didn't force you. I asked you several times.
And I said that I wanted to,
you
but
said that you wanted to, so I was like,
cameras.
okay, well, the
Can you
date
let
is
go of
Thursday.
me? I don't like cameras, bro. I'm not a camera person. This makes me very nervous.
Like, follow, subscribe. I appreciate everybody that watches the podcast. Code Music at Whole Strength. I'm trying to think of any other thing that I gotta say or need to say. So like, follow, subscribe. Shout us out, and I'll shout you back out at Yeah I Know It Pod. Instagram, TikTok,
Twitter.
I'm on Twitter now.
I saw that.
I only got 2 followers, me and Tashoy.
I don't use Twitter anymore.
Me neither, but I was like, hey.
Like,
and I might go on Rumble. Y'all let me know how if anybody watches Rumble, if I should do Rumble or not. Just simply put a yes or no or thumbs up, thumbs down. Spotify, yes. Subscribe on Spotify.
Comment something
You should
fun.
help me, bro.
Who, me? With what?
Cause I never even think about shouting out Spotify. Spotify, Anchor. If you go to my Instagram page, it's all in the link.
You have a link tree?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, I'm gonna kill that dog.
I think that's about it. Yeah, comment anything. Y'all are lacking, honestly, with the comments. I appreciate all the love and support. It's kind of
difficult to just, like, you say, oh, comment something. Blah, blah. Like, it's kind of hard to come up with stuff off the top of the head like that.
I appreciate all the love and support comments, but I always ask for topics or anything really just to talk about on the podcast. Like, if you have any questions, I'll answer them. To the best of my ability, I'll answer them. But, yeah, just comment anything. If you don't know what to comment. Oh my
God. I'm going to do that.
Please do
I'm
it.
going to go and comment on this.
It helps with the algorithm. I promise it does. Well, I think it does. And it's me experimenting if it does or not.
Experimenting.
Yeah.
All right.
I appreciate y'all coming on to the podcast. And I hope you tune back in for the next one.
Tune back in.
Every Friday from here on out.